Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're gonna have a look at AMD and the negative reaction to the earnings, despite the earnings being their best ever at 7.7 billion US dollar. In fact, not to brag, but I was like literally coming in. You can see here my in the middle here were my estimates, and to the left was my were the actual numbers, and I came in at 76.58, and that's literally what they came in. I mean, it's just a little bit of a luck, so let's not pretend that I was like 100% sure. But anyway, that's how it is. We can see data center came in at around 3.9 billion. We can see that the client was really strong, even stronger than I expected. That's kind of telling a story of different stories. Let's say on mobile laptop they're doing really great, especially I think in the Q3 and Q4 time frame. We would expect that part of the client business to slightly go down now in Q1 of 2025. But when it comes to the, let's say, gaming CPU part, that's where I think they're still, you know, as I showed you yesterday, they're selling out. They're holding the top 10 position in Amazon, and in multiple countries across Europe and the world, they are essentially sold out still for the 9800 X3D CPU. Now, again, there were a lot of stuff being told on the call that I just tuned into recently. And one of the important things for me on this discussion about AI GPU and the so-called disappointment, and it is a disappointment. We can see, like, you know, we are, I think, at 52-week lows now. But she had a really interesting comment where she said that first half we should think about it as a essentially same kind of AI GPU revenue as the second half of last year. And how much AI GPU revenue did AMD have in the second half of 2024? So if we scroll down here, you can see that on the CPU side, they were kind of better throughout the entire 2024 and essentially catched up by their GPU on the server side by Q4. And you can see that if you add the estimated numbers for 2024 Q3 and Q4, you're getting, I would say, slightly above 3.5 billion US dollar. Let's say 3.6, 3.7. How is that good in my opinion? Well, if you think about that, if AMD is still, you know, having a slow Q1 and Q2, I haven't updated my numbers, but remember yesterday I told you that probably Q1 and Q2 will be slow. So if we, let's say, go back a little bit, let's say we go at 2000 and, I don't know, let's say 2000 straight, so 2 billion there, and I don't know, let's say 2 billion 200 and 2 billion 200, or actually let's go with 2 billion there again. I would say we are around 3.5 to 4 billion US dollar in AI GPUs in the first half, which is still, I would say, more than what it was in, clearly above what we had in the same period of last year. But interestingly, MI350 and MI400, no, sorry, not MI400, but MI350 and MI325X that's gonna launch now. They're moving ahead. MI350, which was supposed to launch, I think, later in the second half. Now she's talking about, I think, late Q2, early Q3. And that is gonna definitely sell out more. She's talking about higher ASPs on those. She's talking about probably also higher volumes. So would I be surprised that AMD comes in at least 5-6 billion in the second half with much stronger product portfolio in AI GPUs? I wouldn't, which means that at a bare minimum we are still looking at 8 to 10 billion AI GPU sales for AMD this year. It's just a little bit second half heavy, right? And that's all you need to look at currently and in relation to the sell-off, because this 9 or 10% sell-off right now, look at the actual numbers, right? I mean, again, they had a record revenue. I mean, they never had this kind of revenues. Even in the peaks of, you know, 2021 and 2022, the best they got was like 6.5 in Q2 of 2022. Now we are almost at 8 billion, like quarterly revenue, 7.7 billion. And the client business is at this kind of levels close to, like, let's say 10 billion run rate. Obviously Q1 will be lower, Q2 will be lower, but let's say 8 billion, probably 9 billion run rate for the client business. And how much money are they making on the other segments? So if we quickly look at that, we can see that in Q4, AMD's operating income was around, I think on the client business, less than $500 million, so let's say 450 million. In gaming segment, which is very, very bad right now, gaming should be much, much better in, by end of this year. But they made, let's say, 50 million. So that's combining client and gaming, $500 million in operating income. And in the embedded, I would say between 350 to 550 million in a good quarter. And right now we are in a little downtrend, although we are probably kind of starting to go back up. So when you combine all that together, you're getting already there 1 billion in operating income per quarter. That's 4 billion a year in operating income from anything other than data center. And remember, AMD's data center is not like NVIDIA's only GPUs. Half of it is roughly from the EPYC server CPUs, which will have a extreme bullish super cycle, since a lot of the investment in the servers has been gone towards GPUs. Then the CPUs are starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. So I think we are gonna see a massive upgrade cycle, and all of these at the same time that Intel is kind of struggling a little bit. We know that they now postponed a few of their server CPU lineups, at least those with the more smaller cores. That's gonna for sure kind of help AMD, I think, on the EPYC CPU side. So when you consider all of this, they're making already 4 billion. So this company is not, I mean, what is the current, if you're thinking about 10% drop tonight, and the market cap was already at 190 billion. Let's say we are going back to around 170 billion. I don't think it's too expensive, no? I mean, you're buying this company excluding any exposure to AI GPUs already at around, 50, 60, PE ratio maybe, once you add the other cost additional to operating income, of course. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I just think it's, I understand that it's maybe stupid to sit here and say, every time it goes down that it's a buying opportunity. But I think in the long term, it is a buying opportunity. Now, could it go way down, to the 70s, 80s? Possible. I mean, I'm not a day trader or, kind of drawing lines on the chart. So that's not my thing. But fundamentally, I think it's a very, very, very interesting reaction. And I genuinely believe that people are like sleeping on the fact that she mentioned that the first half is gonna be around the second half of last year in AI GPUs, which is 3.5 or so billion, and the second half is gonna be much better. That means, I guess, I don't know, like at least 50-60% more, right? Then we are already talking about 5 billion in the second half, 2.5 billion on each quarter, Q3 and Q4. Add to that around 3 to 4 billion in Q1 and Q2 combined. We are talking at least at a bare minimum 7.5 billion, probably 8 billion, right? And that's like 50% increase at the absolute bare minimum compared to last year. So I'm not sure what the market is, why they are reacting this way. I might be stupid, I don't know, but please like, subscribe, comment in the comment section. What are your ideas? Is it unnecessary sell-off? And see you in the next one.